Hello and welcome to Technically Analytics. Today we're going to be talking about two players that were recently signed and one was traded. The first one we're going to be talking about is Tyler Glasnow, who was pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays and he was traded to the Dodgers this offseason. And one of the agreement of the trade was that he would have to sign an extension with the Dodgers. So that's what he did, and now he's a Los Angeles Dodger. Now, if you don't know Glasnow, he's 6'8", 225, came up with the Pirates. Glasnow has been in the league for a little bit now, but he was really only discovered as being a really great pitcher in about 2017, 2018. That's when he really started to work his way toward being an ace. And one of Glasnow's strengths is his overall speed and his ability to throw really fast and really accurately. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Glasnow and what he can do for the Dodgers. When you look at Glasnow's career stats, you see that in the beginning of his career with Pittsburgh, he kind of struggled. He didn't really find it. And then finally, around 2019, actually, I was wrong. Sorry about that. I was wrong, but 2019, he figured it out. 1.78 ERA, 12 games pitched, 60 innings. He had an ERA plus of 2.48, 2.26 FIP. So basically, the Rays really helped Glasnow a lot. For some reason, they have a really good pitching coach and pitching program, so they've really figured out their pitchers pretty decently. And then from then on, he struggled the next year during COVID, but then he bounced back in 2021, 2.66 ERA. 2022, he got hurt. And then in 2023, he got hurt again, but he did decently with a 3.53 ERA. So when this guy's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. I mean, he can do a lot of things good. And when you look at his home runs per nine, he keeps it right around 1 or below 1 in some cases. 2019 comes to the front. And then his whip is very low. His FIP is very low. He doesn't allow base runners. He's a high strikeout guy. He gets a lot of strikeouts when he's on his game. And he doesn't walk many guys. And his strikeouts is high. You could see 11, 14, 12, 13, 12. This is a guy that can pitch. He throws strikes. He doesn't miss the strike zone. So, and you can tell even there's a better way of showing this, and it's the ratios. Now, when you look at his ratios, you can see his strikeout rate at the beginning of his career well below 30. And then 2019, 33, 38, 36, 38, 33. And these are all top tier ratios. The average MLB is 22.4 and he's at 30.9. His average walk rate he's a little bit higher in the walks department, but that's probably more because of his early career rather than his later on one. He's below average now. And same with his home run percentage. It just climbed. I mean, it wasn't ever that high, but it climbed down as the seasons have gone on. And you can see that his averages batting against him are quite good, especially in the past couple of years. You can ignore 2022 though, because that season he was hurt. So now the Dodgers obviously traded for him to pair him with Shohei Ohtani next year, who will pitch next year. But Glasnow signed a 5-year, $136 million extension with the Dodgers. And it's all guaranteed. So basically, you can see on the breakdown of his contract, he's going to get paid basically. He's going to start out at $15,000, around $17,000 basically for the first year, and then it's going to go up to 30, 30, 30, and then he has a club option, which if he declines it, or if the club declines it, it becomes a player option for $20 million, and then after that, he's a free agent in 2029. So this is it's kind of a weird deal, I would say, because he hasn't really had a full season of top level pitching. If you go back to his career thing, he only pitched not that many games. He's pitched 14 14, 2, and 21. So and before that, 12 and 11. So he's really not done the most amount of games that he could have done because of injuries, because, So if the Dodgers can keep this guy healthy, he's going to be an asset for their lineup. Like, this is an ace caliber pitcher that they brought in along with Shohei, who will pitch in 2025. And so Tyler Glasnow, Walker Buehler, Bobby Miller, Ryan Yarbrough, and Emmett Sheehan will be the Dodgers' rotation projected for 2024. And we know Buehler, he's coming back from injury. We'll see what he has in the tank. Miller and Yarbrough are going to be good. Sheehan, he should be pretty decent. And they also have a couple guys coming back from injuries probably later in the year. So we'll see. I think the Dodgers are pretty set. They're probably going to bring in maybe one more pitcher, but with Glasnow, I think this really solidifies the rotation with Buehler and Miller and Yarbrough. I really like it. Next year, I would see them probably bringing in. We're going to bring in back Ohtani to pitch, and that's going to really bolster it. They're going to have a 6-man rotation. It's going to be crazy. So I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. So next, we're going to talk about outfielder Jung-Hoo Lee from the KBO. Jung-Hoo Lee is an outfielder that he played with the KBO, and he was signed by the San Francisco Giants this offseason. And he bats left, throws right, and he's from Japan, actually. He was born in Japan. And Jung-Hoo Lee is the son of a great legendary Korean outfielder who was known as the son of the wind. So he's like the grandson of the wind. That's a fun fact about him. And he played in the KBO for 7 years. You can see his stats. He played quite a few games, he had a really good career, actually, some eye-popping stats. Now, keep in mind, the KBO is basically like the equivalent of AAA in terms of talent, but the difference is like they play for wins. Like, they're actually trying to win. They're not just working on their craft. So Jung-Hoo Lee profiles as he's not really a power hitter, although he has hit 23 home runs in his career for one season in 2022. He's more of an on-base leadoff type. He has a very high ground ball rate, and he just gets on base and he gets hits. He's a hit guy. He's your prototypical leadoff guy. That's what the Giants envision him as. I would think, because it's kind of weird because the Giants park is not exactly small. It's a pitcher's park, so it's pretty weird. But I think this guy's probably gonna rake. I don't think the big park necessarily makes him a bad pickup. I think it just limits his a bit. It's just not the typical route that teams would go for a guy like this. And coming from the KBO, they have to pay a posting fee to the Kiwoom Heroes of $18 million. Now, Lee was signed to a pretty big contract, 6 years, $113 million. He's getting paid a base salary of $7 million this year with an $800,000 signing bonus, and then it goes up to 16, 22, 22. He has an opt-out available after 2027, and then it's 20.5, and then he's a free agent in 2030. Now, I do like this signing. I think we'll see if it's worth the money, because sometimes these guys that come over from the KBO or the Nippon League in Japan, sometimes they don't work out, sometimes they do. Especially the hitters, and especially when you have pitchers that you haven't seen before, and you're trying to learn the pitching and adjust to that. It's an adjustment, so you have to give him a few years to see how it works out. And if it doesn't, he can always go back to Korea or go back to Japan. It's he has options, but I think it's gonna work out fine. Let's just take a quick look at the Giants lineup. With him in the lineup, I think that it's gonna add some good stuff for them. I think the Giants still have some work to do in terms of power. They have They have JD Davis, they have Conforto, they have Omar Flores, but I think they probably need another bat or two. Their lineup kind of lacks that true power hitter. I mean, JD Davis and Mike Conforto, I'm pretty familiar with. Those guys can definitely hit home runs, especially Davis. He's a big time home run hitter when he's on his game. So I'll be interested to see how Lee fits into this lineup. I think he's going to be a perfect leadoff guy if they use him in that role. I mean, it's projected, but not necessarily going to use him. So we'll see what happens. So that's it for this video. Like and subscribe for more. There will be more videos coming up. More baseball, more F1, more everything. So stay tuned.